it's amazing to get to see the world through the eyes of wine and to experience a place from the wine that it can produce. It really is like a fingerprint of the land, and this French idea of terroir, that it really captures something important about the essence of a place.
It's been said that the Romans didn't go further north that they could grow grapes because they found out that they couldn't move the wine got bad, so they moved rootstocks and started planting grapes along they went on their route up north. And this was the Mosul region where they stopped. It was about 50 degrees north, and for 2,000 years this has been like the magical limit for growing grapes.
We know also the climate in Norway now is, or in at least Liran, it is good with good climate. There we have the same climate now as it was in Champagne for 150 years ago. So I think that was also one of the reasons we try. For us, I think a little more climate change, you know, so it will be perfect. But we see also there's a problem also, of course, because it's very much weather, you can say. So we now also start protect the apple trees with net, because of the hill. Yeah. Also, we have so much rain that we are start make this plastic tunnel for the strawberry and for the raspberries. So.
I want to underpin that wine is a natural product. It definitely takes craft and skill to produce wine, and there's a lot of tradition and knowledge that goes into it. But it's also something that comes from the land and that comes from nature, and ultimately is dependent on nature. And this is really seen in this expression that the growers that I interviewed for my research have said that great wine is grown and not made. That basically, to produce the best quality wine, you have to start with good grapes from the vineyard, and that's about the soil and the climate and matching the variety and the rootstock to your location, taking care of the growing vine in an appropriate way. But really, it's not something you can make up for after the fact, so it has to come from the beginning.
If you see the vineyard in the Mosul Valley, you can't grow potatoes there, for example. You can't grow anything else than grapes.
What happens under climate change is that these systems get out of whack. So ripening is happening faster, the acid is dropping off more quickly, and the sugar is accumulating more quickly. That means that here, the ideal sugar to acid ratio would be happening earlier. However, you haven't yet reached the full flavor potential. So growers are in a difficult position where they have to decide, should I pick here, even though I won't have the flavor I want, or am I going to wait for the flavor, but that means I now have too much sugar and too little acid. To some extent, some of those things can be adjusted or compensated in the winery. But as I said before, great wine is grown and not made. And many growers and winemakers and consumers feel the more you have to manipulate the wine, the more you're really reducing its quality.
So how do we connect with the consumers of wine with these stories?
In 2016, this vintage, there is not going to be any Chablis, for example.
Essentially, everything that we care about is impacted by climate and climate change. I mean, we're dependent on climate to produce our food. 50% of the world's population lives within a very close distance of the coast and is threatened by sea level rise. I mean, thinking about the places that we grew up in, that we like to visit on holidays, and how those are at risk from enormous changes. So making the connection with climate change is something that's happening now and something you can experience and taste. It's not something that's far away, and hopefully then motivating people to take action and to feel empowered to take action, and not that, oh, this is something, I as one person or I as a member of a community can't do something about, because we do have a big impact.